how arthritis develops, and so I thought I would draw this out in the way that I was taught to me through a colleague. The black here represents bone. A joint, this is just a general joint, in that a joint is just a space between two bones. The red here is the fibrous connective tissue. It's your joint capsule, and it keeps everything on the inside. The green here represents cartilage, so it provides cushioning. And then these blue dots is representative of the joint fluid. And so this is important because this is what houses primarily all of the nutrients and really how you maintain the health of the joint. And so as it progresses, you end up with compromising the space within. So you can tell that there's far less fluid in this one than there is in this one. And so while the cartilage is still there, it's not quite touching, the bone has not been compromised, you have less space. So it continues to progress. Now the cartilage starts to become compromised. Potentially the capsule starts getting maybe smaller on one side because you're avoiding particular movement. This is very specific to, let's say, like a lumbar spine or a lower back, right? If somebody is always neutral spine and I'm never moving into flexion, then I'm gonna run into this problem where because I don't go into flexion, then one side is the one that gets a lot of tension and the other one sort of gets ignored. And that's how you start ending up with this kind of abnormal type of joint capsule there. And so as that again continues to progress to the next stage, now the cartilage has been compromised to the point where it no longer can cushion, so I haven't even drawn it here. The joint capsule is probably even smaller. Potentially you start having the bone becoming affected. So now I've tried to draw some squiggly lines to kind of show that it's a bit jagged. And so this is where you end up with the typical presentation that you hear bone on bone. And so how do you prevent a joint from going from here to here? Well, it's maintaining this fluid, right? So if I go back to the explanation that I said about the lower back, if you don't move a joint through its full range of motion, you don't load it in that way, then why would it continue to maintain? So being able to squeeze things out and then sort of recycle the fluid helps to bring in new nutrients for the joint. And so in order to maintain balance through the joint, it needs to be moved through a full range of motion. And so this is what I tell people before they get to the point where they are becoming arthritic. And that is, for example, let's use a knee. If you don't take your knee into full flexion and full extension, then this is going to become compromised at some level. And so you are going to start getting structural changes based on the demand that you're providing, because why would it maintain it if you're not doing it? So this is just something to illustrate how you end up with a normal joint turning into something that is bone on bone.